Get ready for the best explanation available on the internet on normal distribution, the famous bell-shaped pattern that appears almost everywhere in real life. What you are seeing right now on your screen is the website of Kaggle, which hosts free datasets shared by people from all around the world. What we have is a simple dataset to start with. It contains only the height, in inches, and weights, in pounds, of 25,000 different human beings of age 18 and above. What I will do is I will download this data and then open it in a Google Sheet. It looks like this. We have 3 columns with second and third columns being height and weight respectively. Now take this height column first and then plot its histogram. A histogram is simply a graph that shows how many times different values appear by grouping them into small ranges. On the x-axis here, you see the ranges of height in inches, and on the y-axis, you see how many people fall inside each height range. Each height range, or each rectangle, tells you the count or the number of people whose height lies within that small rectangular band. When we look at this plot, we immediately notice that the tallest rectangles are sitting around the middle heights, roughly near 67 to 69 inches, meaning most people are clustered around that height. As we move away from the center, towards shorter heights on the left or taller ones on the right, the bars start shrinking slowly and then sharply, showing that fewer and fewer people belong to those ranges. This forms a smooth bell curve pattern because it looks like a bell, right? This type of pattern or curve that is formed, which rises gently, peaks in the middle, and then falls symmetrically on both sides, is what we call a normal distribution. Now let us try the same for weights and see what happens. Oh my God, we get the same pattern of normal distribution. So whether it's height or weight or shoe sizes or exam scores for students or diastolic blood pressure or daily temperatures and even tiny measurement errors, all of them tend to follow this normal distribution. Now there are 2 numbers that are used to describe a normal distribution. The first is the mean or the average value, written as mu, so it defines the central location and the peak of the normal distribution. The normal distribution is perfectly symmetric around the mean, meaning 50% of the values are less than mu and 50% are greater than mu. We can find this average value, or mu, by adding all the observed values or available values together and then dividing by how many values there are. For example, in this height and weight dataset, the average height, which we can find easily using this Google Sheet, turns out to be around 68 inches. Therefore, if you see this normal distribution curve of the height, it is centered around 68 inches. Now, the second number is called the standard deviation, written as sigma, and it tells you how wide or narrow the bell is. A small sigma means the bell is tall and narrow, which means the values are tightly packed near the mean mu. Then, a large sigma means the bell is short and wide, so values are more spread out. To compute this sigma, first find how far each value is from the mean, then square those values, and then find the average of those squared values. What we got is called variance, and we denote it using sigma square. Then finally take the positive square root of this variance, and that result is sigma. So for this height dataset, we have already computed the mean, which was 68 inches. Now, in order to calculate standard deviation, first find how far each value is from the mean. For that, make a column height minus mean. These values are nothing but simply the height value for that row minus this mean value. For example, the first value of height is 65.8 inches, and if we subtract mean from it, we get minus 2.21. Then this second value, minus the mean, is 3.52. Then the third value minus mean is 1.4, and so on. Next, we will make a column where we will square each value like this. So the square of minus 2.21 is this. Then the square of 3.52 is this, and so on. Then we will find the average of these squared values. What we got is variance. Now find the square root of this value, and we get standard deviation, or sigma. So for this height dataset, the variance turns out to be around 3.6 square inches, and sigma turns out to be around 1.9 inches. Note that the unit of variance is in square inches, while the unit of sigma is in inches, which is the same as the original data's unit. Together, using only these two values, mu and sigma, you can fully describe a normal curve. To get a feel of this, assume I only change the mean of some normal distribution. The entire curve shifts left or right without changing its shape. In contrast, changing the standard deviation stretches or compresses the curve, making it wider or narrower while keeping the center fixed. Noise. Next, I will tell you about a very useful shortcut for the normal curve, which is called the empirical rule. Suppose we have a normal distribution whose mean is 20 and standard deviation is 1.5. Now, there is a term called 1 sigma, which means mu plus minus 1 times sigma. So, what will be this range? It will be 20 minus 1.5 or 18.5 and 20 plus 1.5 or 21.5. Now you will say, so what? Actually, 68% of values always fall within 1 sigma of mu. So, if the area under this entire curve is 100%, then this region corresponds to 68% of the total area. Then 2 sigma means mu plus minus 2 times sigma, which will be this range. About 95% fall within 2 sigmas, and similarly about 99.7% fall within 3 sigmas. So if you pick a random value from a normal distribution, there is a high chance it will be close to mu, likely within 1 sigma, and it becomes very rare to find values farther than 3 sigmas. This rule helps quickly judge how unusual a value is without doing heavy calculation. You know what? The concept of 6 sigmas is used in quality control and manufacturing to minimize defects, aiming for nearly 0 errors. So in our case of height data set of 25,000 people, with a mean of 68 inches and sigma of 1.9 inches, about 68% of people, or around 17,000 people, have heights between 66.1 and 69.9 inches. Then about 95% of people, or roughly 23,000 people, have heights within 2 sigma of the mean, that is, between 64.2 and 71.8 inches. Awesome! Now we will talk about PDF. The probability density function, abbreviated as PDF, gives the mathematical curve of the bell for a normal distribution. Basically, if we have a function f of x, which looks like this, where x is just a variable that represents any value on the horizontal axis, like a height, a weight, or exam scores, or any continuous number. Then, when we plot the function, it will have this bell-shaped formula like the normal distribution. This function is called PDF. Here, pi and e are fixed constants in mathematics, and mu and sigma are the mean and standard deviation as discussed earlier. Now here comes an important idea. The area under the curve defined by the PDF between 2 numbers equals the probability that a randomly chosen value falls between those numbers. As an example, suppose heights in a group have mean mu equal to 160 centimeters and standard deviation sigma equal to 10 centimeters. If you want to find the chance that a randomly chosen person has height between 150 and 170 centimeters, you look at the area under the PDF between those 2 points. Using integration, that turns out to be equal to 68%. Hey, if you look closely, this range is just 1 sigma, and as per the empirical rule we have discussed, the area, or probability, is about 68%. That means roughly 68% of people fall within that band around the mean. By the way, you don't have to worry much. Such integrations are generally handled by softwares, and you just have to enter the range values, the mean and standard deviation. Next, we will talk about something known as z-score. Suppose you have a random variable x, which can represent anything like height, weight, exam score, temperature, blood pressure, and so on. Say this x follows a normal distribution with mean mu and standard deviation sigma. A z-score helps translate any x value into a standard scale. The z-score is the number you get when you take x minus mu and then divide that result by sigma. By doing that, you get another random variable z, which now represents x, but in its standardized form, which always follows a normal distribution with mean mu equals 0 and standard deviation sigma equals 1. This number tells you how many sigmas away x is from the mean. A z-score near 0 means x is very close to the mean, or the average of its dataset. A z-score of about 2 means x is 2 sigmas above mu, which is less common, and a z-score beyond 3 is very rare. Finally, before we end this video, we will talk about CDF, or cumulative distribution function. To find actual probabilities for being below or above a value, we use the cumulative distribution function, the CDF, which gives the area under the bell up to a point. It is given like this using the PDF f of x. For example, if the mean mu is 160 and sigma is 10, and you want the probability that height is less than 140 centimeters, then first we compute the z-score by taking x as 140. We get this, so z-score turns out to be -2. Next, we use these tables or online softwares or coding languages like Python or R, etc., and find the CDF value when z-score is -2. The CDF value for -2 tells you the probability, which is around 2.3%. So around 2.3% of the people have height less than 140 centimeters. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the normal distribution. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, you can support my channel by joining our community and becoming a member. So good!